Today I'm talking more about living with anxiety. Welcome back, and as ever, if this is your first time here, my channel is all about mental health and well-being. I talk about anxiety, my emotions, my feelings, how I struggle with these, and how I still try to thrive in my life in spite of some of those things. So if you think that's going to be a benefit to you, and if you like this video, then I'd really love for you to subscribe and make sure you turn on the notifications so you know each and every time I post a video. So today I'm diving back into living with anxiety. The reason I'm doing it is probably because yesterday I had one of those real heightened days of anxiety where my anxiety was really quite bad. It was on me. You know, when it rushes through your body, the whole inside of me was shaking. You take them deep breaths and it's almost like you can just feel the breath trying to combat that anxiety in the body. One of the annoying things about anxiety is that there's always this kind of self-deprivation that comes with it. This idea that I shouldn't be feeling like it, I should be better than it. And also it seems to come with this feeling of, yep, this is the one. This is the bout of anxiety that I'm not going to come out of. It becomes very difficult to remember that the day before the anxiety wasn't there. It becomes hard to remember that normally the next day is going to die back down. And so you get just stuck in this place where you're beating yourself up for the ways that you're feeling. And because it's anxiety, it's different from I struggle with a bad back as well, right? And so sometimes if I've got a bad back during the day, I can be annoyed, it can piss me off. I can understand that it's got bad again because I've done X, Y, or Z and I haven't been doing the stretching that I should do. But I don't then beat myself up about it. I find it very easy, or much easier, to accept that my back's going to ache for the next day or two because of X, Y, or Z. And then you just get on with it. It doesn't come with that constant barricade of abuse that you give yourself, or that certainly I give myself when it's anxiety. You know, that constant, don't feel like this, I shouldn't feel like this. I'm not going to get out of this one. Why me? Why do I feel like this? And I guess it's that battle that I need to focus my attention on managing. You know, for me, it's been really helpful to understand that my anxiety started as a way of protecting me. It was a coping mechanism. It was my body triggering into overdrive, you know, to protect me. And on the days when I'm able to manage it more, for whatever reason that it's come about, sometimes I'm able to, you know, meet it where it's at, almost thank it for being there and let it know that I don't need that response, and that, you know, I can tap into a different response today because I don't need that full anxiety. Some days it just completely overwhelms me, you know, and I make a real point actually of trying to tell people when I've been struggling with it, because it's really hard to talk about it when you're in it. And that's why I never push people to talk about it when you're in it, because you just kind of don't. But then sometimes when you feel better the next day, it's very easy to just think that was yesterday, let's forget about it. But for me, it's you know, it's beneficial for me and for those around me, for me able to just unpack it and have a look at it and look at the ways that I could have managed it better and what could I have done to maybe minimize the impact that it had on me. I always say that I beat anxiety by how I live in spite of it, not by getting rid of it. It's not something that I can ever see going away very quickly, completely in my life. I don't look for a cure. I don't believe there is a cure. I look for ways of managing it and trying to, you know, live in spite of it, like I say. And that means being honest about it. That means trying to find some acceptance. And actually what I do recognize now is that there are days when it's going to come on stronger, and there's days when, like today, it's going to be much less of an influence on my life. And the moment I kind of accept that, then, you know, the days when it's good, I'm able to enjoy them and be a lot more grateful for them. And then the days when it's bad, I can find myself in a space where I know that I can deal with it. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to dwarf and overwhelm me. But that doesn't stop it still being annoying, painful, awful, and make me fall into that kind of cycle that I fall into. And I have to have compassion for myself for doing that. It's a difficult thing, yeah? And because it's not a visible response, because it's not, you know, when I get an aching back and I sort of hump over and I walk over, people can see the pain and I can see it, and it becomes very physical. But when it's anxiety, it's not like that, right? So that cycle is very easy to get into of beating myself up. So I guess today I've made this just more than any reason. I've made it because I had one of them days yesterday. And I think if I'm true to my word and if I'm practicing the things that I preach, then I have to make sure that I'm expressing that and letting people. It's very easy for me to work in this space and fall into that trap of thinking that I'm supposed to be somebody who's in mental health recovery rather than somebody who still struggles in many different ways, and I'm trying to live in spite of that. So if you're struggling with anxiety today, if you've struggled with anxiety in the past, if you know you're going to struggle with anxiety in the future, I guess all I'm really saying is that I can't take it away. I'm not saying it's going to go away, but at least we're not alone. We don't have to beat ourselves up. We don't have to hate ourselves for it. We're just human beings responding in ways that we've been taught at some part of our lives and trying to make our way. And it's good to know that we're not alone in it. It's good to know that the good days do come, and I'm grateful for them when they do.